Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another lecture. Today, we're going to talk about insurance considerations when it comes to owning and operating your own gym or health and fitness facility. So we know that most things in life can be covered by insurance. So whether it comes to your home or your car or medical costs, individuals have this certain need to take out insurance policies in order to provide themselves with a safety net. And the same thing is true for business owners and operators. And so there are potential risks that come with owning and operating your own gym or your health and fitness facility. And so one of those risks is definitely loss of property, whether that be damages or loss of the building itself or the equipment and furnishings within that business. And that could be brought about by fire or smoke damage, flooding, extreme weather, or even vandalism or criminal activity by other individuals. So you want to make sure that you have an insurance policy that helps cover those potential losses. You also have potential losses in net income. And so now here in March 2020 is, probably a good example of this potential loss of income. COVID-19 has left a lot of gym owners with a huge question mark when it comes to their businesses. What do they do with memberships? What do they do about the bills that are coming up for their business or gym? And so there's a lot of these potential risks, these things that can happen, and it becomes hard because you can't make an insurance claim on a global pandemic, right? So business owners need to be, sort of vigilant in, devising a strategy where if you do have closure for your facility, how are you going to be able to operate? What are you going to be able to do to make sure that you're still going to be able to own and operate your business in the future? So again, very hard questions. Not saying, there's an easy answer to that, but there is that potential that something like this can occur. And so a lot of people are dealing with that right now. And so you also have different types of risks, whether that be injury or damages done to people on your property, and that could be your members or your employees. And so you want to make sure that the insurance coverage, covers you in an incidence of that occurring. And so the number one liability loss for health and fitness facilities is slips and falls, right? So this is a majority of the claims that get taken out. And so, that could be someone tripping and falling just on the fitness floor itself, right? It doesn't need to be, and although this is a big percentage wet floor areas, if someone trips and falls in your facilities and hurts themselves, they will try to come after you. And so we'll talk about ways to try to lower that risk. But, number one, a wet floor area. So a lot of gyms are going to have locker rooms with shower areas or aquatic areas. And so it's critical that you have a staff that's going to be on top of if there's hazards going on, especially when it comes to wet floors, that there's proper signage out there. And slip and falls can also occur just when people are participating in sports, whether it be basketball or racquetball or tennis. People can hurt themselves out on the court, and since it's on your property, you may be at risk, depending on a few factors. And then also the usage of equipment yourself falling off that piece of equipment. And you see here that these claims can come with a hefty price tag for gym owners. So having proper coverage and taking proper steps to reduce these risks are very, very, very important. And then another threat or another liability is that equipment can fall, especially if you have free weights and people could get struck by that equipment. Let's say a dumbbell is not secure on the rack. Someone walks up to that dumbbell rack and that 30-pound weight drops and shatters bones in their foot. You can be held responsible, right? So having a staff that is out there that's paying attention to the gym floor, the potential risks, very, very important. And so the manager has to be the one to make sure that he or she is promoting that environment on the gym floor. where they're constantly looking out and constantly being aware of the potential dangers. And so it's also important, in addition to that, that you have proper signage. And so if a piece of equipment is broken, if there is a wet floor, if your sauna is out of order, that there's signage showing those risks, right? And if someone still, with implied assumption, they see this out of order sign and then they hurt themselves, well, you're going to be at less risk, to have to pay out financial compensation because, you took the steps necessary in order to try to prevent that liability from occurring, and the person still, with that implied assumption, still proceeded to use that equipment or whatever example, right? So making sure that the staff is on top of potential dangers on the gym floor and in your locker rooms, aquatics area, very, very important. You also need to make sure that, people are going to be participating in exercise. And so they will be doing potentially dangerous things that could injure themselves on your gym property. And so you need to make sure that you are consulting, with the right legal help, the right legal advice, that you avoid any vague language in your waiver liability forms, that those forms clearly state that the person knows, what activities they're getting into and the potential for injury that can occur when they work out. And you want to avoid any gross negligence, anything that may hold you or your employees responsible for any liabilities that occur. But to help protect against some of these instances, that's why you want to take out insurance coverages. And so the benefits are that, it's financial compensation for any covered losses that may occur, whether that be damage to the building or the equipment, or any persons inside your operation. It's just a backup plan just in case some damage or injury occurs. And it could give you some peace of mind that if something does occur, that you will have a backup and it won't mean that you will need to close your door downs, right? And in addition to that, it should just get you to think about how to properly implement risk management, right? So identifying and evaluating loss exposures. What are things that can be potentially hold you liable for injury or damages that occur, right? So you want to avoid that negligence. You want to make sure that your documents, don't put you at any risk for getting sued, and just making sure, again, as a good business owner, promoting to your staff that, hey, we're on the lookout for hazards and dangers. We want to promote a safe environment for working out. And so, you could try to implement things, whether it be through your employees or through your documentation, that you are, again, promoting a safe environment and holding yourself at little risk as possible for being liable. All right, and so the different types of insurance, you have property and casualty insurance, and so that may cover the building and the contents, again, with inside, whether that be your equipment or your furnishing or your office, computers that you have, technology, things like that. You have a certain amount of business income coverage. Again, it can be very hard to prove that a significant event caused the potential shutdown of your gym, just as this virus right now. And not a lot of gym facilities are going to get a monetary payment because of this, right? So it depends on the situation, but let's say a fire did start and you were covered. Well, at least you can have some insurance for the loss of income that you are going to have. Many gym owners go with a general liability insurance. It's going to protect you against claims. Protect you against claims made against you on your premises. So whether it be someone gets hurt inside the gym itself, or in your parking lot, it helps cover you for those instances. Event liability. So if you are a weightlifting gym, a CrossFit gym, and you go to tournaments and events, general liability can help cover you in certain those events that occur with your staff. And then umbrella policies tend to try to cover everything, right? And so that's not only just to the building itself, but taking into consideration customer injuries or damage, the products or contents inside, fire, vehicles, reputation. So it's called umbrella because it's going to cover a wide scope of potential insurance claims. Then you also want to make sure you have some sort of crime or coverage insurance, whether it be through employees stealing money from you or direct theft, robbery, burglary, arson, destruction. This crime coverage insurance could basically give you some financial compensation if there is a loss in money due to the fact that someone is taking advantage of you or someone has vandalized your facility. And then as a gym owner, full-time employees need to be able to provide workers' compensation, which is the medical expenses, disability income, or death benefits to replace lost wages, and rehabilitation services to employees getting back to work. So that comes out of pocket for the business for those full-time employees if they get hurt on the job. And then those full-time employees are going to have life, disability, group health, maybe potentially dental and vision. That's not necessary in all states, but you need to be able to offer an employee insurance program. And so many insurance companies will give you good rates depending on how many employees you have, but you need to shop around and find out those best options for you and your business. And so in order to obtain adequate insurance, it's good to speak to a professional, right? Speak to an insurance specialist or a broker or agent, because they're going to have the best advice when it comes to your specific type of facility, how many employees you have, how many members you have, the type of events that you have on your property. And so they're going to be able to point you in a better direction as far as what you need. And so you need to look at the potential loss exposures and determine what level of coverage you need. And so, you could have total coverage, which is going to prevent you against that injury, that damage to your building or your equipment, potential personnel insurance claims, or you may want to have multiple carriers for individual insurances that you may need. And so you need to analyze the cost, how easy is it to file a claim with these insurance agencies. So you may need to do some research there. And then, the history of claims payments. How long does it take? How much are you going to get depending on certain situations? And so that's basically a very short lecture as far as businesses are concerned, but also many of you are going to go out there as a health and fitness professional and not be an employer, right? Or not be a manager. And so you may go out there as a personal trainer or aerobics instructor. It's also going to be required for you to have individual insurance as well. And so many independent contractors are required to have individual insurance. So as a part of the hiring process, the gym owner will tell you, okay, you need to also have additional insurance. And so most individuals in the health and fitness industry are going to just get some form of individual general and professional liability insurance that will protect you against negligence claims and anything that you're doing as far as the scope of your work, applying health and fitness programming and assessment. And so you could have coverage up to a few $1 million, and they're going to have different rates depending on the company. You're going to list the fitness facilities you work at as co-insured, so they're going to be covered under this policy. And then, where to find this insurance? Many of the industries, many of the associations that offer certifications, whether it be for personal training or for group fitness, they offer some form of insurance. So again, it's best for you to shop around as an individual, but compare those prices and see what level of coverage you get. Just so, again, it's a risky industry. We are asking people, to do a lot of physical work, and that comes with potential risks. And so it's just easier if you're going to be your own personal trainer, group fitness instructor, not only to have, insurance that, you have some peace of mind, but you just want to make sure that you have a safety net where it's not going to ruin you financially if something does happen. That's it for this lecture. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time.